You can dominate your league. You can dominate in Europe. But what's the point if you can't win when it matters? Welcome back to the Sir Alex Ferguson Aberdeen Challenge here on Super Sammy Plays. We're approaching the end of the transfer window, and after losing one of our key defenders in the last episode, we're going to be praying we don't lose anyone in this one. We're getting closer to the most important part of the season, with the Champions League round of 16 fast approaching, and we're going to need to keep this squad together as we aim to go all of the way this season. Domestically, we've only dropped points in one game this season, having won 24 out of 25 and drawing the other. So we'll certainly be looking to continue that form as we look to add another title to our collection and potentially break the points total record for the league in the process. So let's get into it. So to start this one, I've got an away trip to Livingston, and in the 8th minute, Jay Robinson down the right-hand side plays a great ball in behind to Profundi, who somehow gets it past the goalkeeper Stone, making it 1-0. And then Robinson to Profundi again, but this time he crosses it, finding Canazon, and his effort hitting the goalkeeper and going in for an own goal as we make it 2. And after the first 2 goals, you would have thought there'd have been a bit more savvy to Jay Robinson's tactics, as this time he causes issues again, but his shot is deflected to Koretsas and he puts it into the back of the net as we go 3-0 up. But just 5 minutes later, Barron finds Charlize at the edge of the box and he fires in past the scrambling Shahaj, pulling a goal back for Livingston as they make it 3-1. But just 6 minutes later, Canazon with a free kick, finding over Levi and the goalkeeper unable to keep this one out. Not a great game for him as we go 4-1 up. And then we rounded out the scoring in the 66th minute, Profundi getting his second goal of the game, firing past the goalkeeper as we go on to win 5-1. And surprisingly, Canazon doesn't already have this bonus for 10 league assists, which is quite surprising as he seems to have assisted loads this season. We have guaranteed Europa League, or Conference League rather, for the season, but obviously we are going to be aiming for the league title and Champions League football again for next season, but it just shows how far in front we are of everybody else. Profundi on form, and apparently Pedro Silva needing a rest, which is certainly not ideal after we've just lost one of our centre-backs. But we have also received another offer, this time for Celtic for Sarto. That is probably because they've lost Gilberto Moura to Barcelona. So like I just mentioned, Profundi has been on form and he's won Player of the Month for his 4 goals and 3 assists in the last 5 matches. And another good month for him. He has certainly been one of our better players this season. And this is how the team's stats are currently looking. Maybe not so many assists for Canazon this season, but he certainly has a lot more goals. He is now on 24 goals and 12 assists. Simone Profundi on 23 and 14, so he's actually got more goal contributions. Allison with 15 and 12, which is quite surprising after the start he had to the season. And Marinowitz with 14 and 8. Koretsas with 14 and 14. So 2 of our new signings there doing absolutely unbelievable. And Jay Robinson with 11 and 9. And then it's a little bit of a drop off with Michael Funk on 5 and 5. But great to see amongst about 6 players there that the goals and assists are being shared out. And it's not just fully reliant on one player. And they're going to get another chance for some more goals and assists in this one as we play Kilmarnock at home. And Jay Robinson, after his great game in the last one, finding Ronald Araujo. And he gets on the score sheet to make it 1-0. And then Marinowitz gets brought down by Samuel, winning a penalty, which Canazon steps up and says thank you very much and Panenka's it down the middle as we go 2-0 up. And then Marinowitz with a little back heel, it eventually finds its way to Simone Profundi and he puts it into the back of the net to make it 3. And then in the 34th minute, lovely bit of play there between our main 2 men, Canazon and Profundi, and Canazon gets another goal to make it 4. And then just 90 seconds later, the ball coming out to the right with Robinson. He crosses into the middle and Canazon wraps up a first half hat-trick as we go 5-0 up. And then I'm not entirely sure what actually happened here, as it looked more like a trip more than anything from Marinowitz, but he does get a straight red card and sent off down the tunnel for an early bath. So he's going to be suspended. But not entirely sure what happened there. And with the 10 men, we do end up conceding a goal from Giddings as we go on to win the game 5-1. And then it was time for some offers from Chelsea as they made a £26 million, or £25.5 million bid rather, for Michael Funk, which obviously got rejected. We have certainly had better offers than that, and certainly better offers than this, as they came back with a £48 million bid, which also obviously got rejected. And then straight away, they came back in with another one of £65 million. So That also got rejected, and I'm not entirely sure how he goes from being valued at 26 million to 65 million in 2 bids, but maybe if they'd have started at 65 million, we would have had a deal by the end of it. Next up was a chance for some of our youngsters to impress as we play Peterhead in the Scottish Cup, and away at this one, Andrew Payne gets us off to the perfect start in the 21st minute, making it 1-0. And then in the 33rd, the corner coming in from Sato, the man in demand, and he finds Fricio Caicedo, who heads home to make it 2. Before tricky winger Eric Adam gets himself on the score sheet by making it 3. And then the second half started off more of the same as the ball comes out to the right with Andrew Payne. He goes past the fullback, crosses it in, and a push on youngster McWilliam wins us a penalty, which Ryan Sato steps up and for the second time in a row misses as the scoreline remains 3-0. But the inevitable, in the 74th minute, we do pick up another goal. Sato involved after missing that penalty, crossing it to the middle. Great ball, finding Eric Adam for a great header as we go on to win 4-0 and advance to the next round. And then back to the league in this one as we go away to Ibrox to play Rangers. And not the start we'd look for after Levi giving the ball away cheaply. Diamondi picks it up. Asgard getting through on goal. Didn't even realise he was still there, but he has always caused us issues and he has done it yet again, giving Rangers the lead. But thankfully, in the 31st minute, Alisson finding Buffon and Canazon gets on the score sheet to level the game up. In the 42nd, Asgard involved again, this time finding Abdelawi, but he did look offside when he received the ball, and after a VAR check, the goal was ruled out. And just inside the second half, as we go looking to get in front, corner gets cleared to Bufundi, and his effort hits the crossbar. And then in the 62nd minute, Bufundi involved again, down the right this time, cuts in on his left foot, shoots all the way across goal, and hits the woodwork for the second time. But in the 93rd minute, Bufundi gets on his left, pulls it into the middle, and Canazon does get his second goal of the game as we go on to win 2-1 after turning the game on its head. So Caicedo was the man on form from that, and with that win, we have qualified for the Champions League very early into the season. We are only 2 weeks into February, so we are already guaranteed a top 2 spot, which is pretty nice. And we have been given our transfer budget for the summer of 26 million. So that is certainly by far the most we've actually been given. And conveniently, it is after we have probably sold the most in players and the board have actually kept it for us. And we've actually got it back eventually. So we might not have got it at the time, but we have been given it for the summer. But if we're going to win the Champions League this season, that'll mean nothing to us because we will have actually completed our goal and our challenge. And with that, we have also made it 39 unbeaten in the league. It would actually be 39 won in a row if it weren't for that draw just a couple of episodes ago. Or actually, it might have been the last episode. But yeah, just the one draw and every other game has been a win. See, we are 27 played, 26 won, 1 drawn, and we are only 12 points in front of Celtic, which is quite surprising. So it shows the sort of form that they've been showing this season as well. In terms of the player assists, or the player stats rather, I was looking at assists there because I think Bufundi has now got on top of it maybe. Average rating is Bufundi who is at the top after Alisson sort of dropped off a little bit, probably not helped with the injury. 7.96 average rating for Bufundi is pretty insane. And in terms of the goals, Canazon top of the list by 5 goals. Certainly stepped up this season since we changed the tactics. And Bufundi is only just 1 off of second place as well as he sits in 3rd. So pretty good to see them there. And Corretsas in 5th as well with 12. Alisson down in 9th. So 2 of our new signings in the top 10, which is pretty good. And Bufundi is top of the assist table as he has got 14. Which is 5 more than Canazon and Jay Robinson and 6 more than Alisson. So we are pretty much dominating in all aspects of the league this season. We have also had the round of 16 draw for the Champions League, and we are going to be playing against Atlético Madrid in the Spanish side. Certainly going to be a pretty difficult opposition. I don't think we've actually played them before on this save. If we have, it would have only been a league phase match. So this should be an exciting one, but I certainly do expect us to win, having gone as far as we have the last couple of seasons. We'll certainly be looking to go even further at this one. Like I say, we are looking to win the whole thing. So we are going to have to beat everyone that's put in front of us. But I'm not too worried by these just yet. But for now, it is another trip to Dundee. as we play them in the league, and Canazon involved in the 14th minute. His corner comes in, and I've no idea what happens. It says there was a push. I didn't see a push, but we do get a penalty. Canazon does score, making it 1-0 in the 15th minute. Before Carlos Alexander spreads it out to the right with Profundi. He pulls it back to Allison. He fires it in, and Jay Robinson gets on the score sheet to make it 2. And then in the 39th minute, another Canazon corner, but this time headed on from Felicio Caicedo to make it 3. But Dundee actually pull one back with former Aston Villa left-back Christine finding Cormac, getting it back again. He gives it back to Cormac, pulls it back to Tyler Fletcher, and he scores to make it 3-1. But 20 minutes into the second half, Jay Robinson, down the left-hand side, cuts back on his right foot, pulls it back to Michael Funk, gets it back again and shoots a cross goal into the far corner as we comfortably win the game 4-1. An away trip this time as we play Hibs. Robbie York, we will certainly be known as the danger man, but it is our former man, Topi Keskinen, who gets them off to a great start, putting Hibs 1-0 up. And it took us quite a while to get back into this one, with Jay Robinson equalising in the 73rd minute. So not looking good, but in the 85th, a mistake from Gutierrez intercepted by Corretzes, and we have somehow managed to win this one after what looked to be a very poor performance as we go on to beat Hibs 2-1. We might have won that game in the end, but the biggest loss was the fact that Canazon has picked up a knee injury and is going to be out for 4 to 7 weeks. So his only chance of playing in the Champions League this season is if we get through the next couple of rounds. And talking of the Champions League, it is time for the very first leg against Atlético Madrid. And in the 5th minute, we showed our intent with Profundi having an effort saved by Martinelli. And then Profundi's corner gets cleared to Corretzes. He crosses it in with his left foot, but a good save from Levi, twice in fact, and then put over the crossbar. And somehow we are not in front in the 11th minute. But we get another chance in the 21st minute. Robinson's cross is cleared to the edge with Ofer Levi. He fires it into Michael Funk, who puts it into the back of the net as we go 1-0 up and start the tie perfectly. But after that goal, Atlético Madrid do get back into it. Nico O'Reilly pulling to the edge of the box. Bischoff's effort saved from the goalkeeper to keep the scoreline at 1-0, but it certainly had sparked a bit of life into them. And right on cue, Corretzes going through 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper and a little dink over his foot to give us a 2-goal lead and try and put to bed any chance of an Atletico comeback. But Bayona with a great ball finding Fabricio, and he puts it over the goalkeeper. Ironically, this is somebody that we looked at a few times to sign Fabricio and chose not to go for him in the end. But Jay Robinson gets it on his right and unfortunately gets tackled, losing out on that one. And then in the 62nd minute, the free kick comes in, gets cleared to the edge of the box with Tom Bischoff, who lays it off for Fabricio. His effort falls to Garrido, and the do manage to level the game up as we go on to draw 2-2. So before we play Atletico for the second time, we have to play Dundee for a second time, this time in the Scottish Cup. And in the 25th minute, Semi getting us off to a great start with a lovely finish into the bottom corner. And then just inside the second, Semi involved again as he fires past the goalkeeper on his left foot this time to make it 2-0. Marinowitz then back from his ban, gets it on his left foot, pulls it back to Andrew Payne, who gets on the score sheet, making it 3-0. And then we wrap up the game in the 68th minute with Felicio Caicedo heading home a corner from Eric Adam as we go on to win 4-0 and advance through to the next round. But the most important game of the episode is this one against Atletico Madrid at home in the second leg of the Champions League. And after drawing 2-2 in the first one, we certainly hope to have scored that to give us a great start. But unfortunately, Corretzes puts it wide. And then Nico O'Reilly's cross gets cleared to the edge, and Bischoff's effort, unbelievable effort to be fair, hitting the crossbar, very unlucky for him. But in the 17th minute, Funk pulls it into the middle, and Corretzes doesn't make the same mistake twice as he puts this one into the back of the net. And then lovely play between Corretzes and Funk, but a good save from Martinelli to keep the scoreline at 1-0. So at half-time, we had 11 shots to Atletico Madrid's 4, dominating in that first half with just the 1-goal lead. But thankfully, 16 minutes into the second half, Alisson's effort going straight through the goalkeeper into the bottom corner as we go 2-0 up. And to make sure we didn't throw this one away, Corretzes plays it into Profundi. And Profundi with a slip ball through to Alisson, and he gets his second goal of the game, firing into the bottom corner for his 7th in 8 in the Champions League this season. And then in the 83rd minute, Semi running straight through, his effort coming back to Marinowitz for a tap-in as we go 4-0 up. And we weren't content with that, as in the 88th minute, Maranowicz going past the fullback, putting back on his left foot, pulls it into the middle. Alisson giving it back to him. It eventually falls to Carretzas, but a good block to stop us getting another goal. And then Carlos finding Carretzas. He plays a great ball over the top to Ryan Sugisato. He pulls another save out of Martinelli. But a comfortable win in the end as we go on to win the tie 6-2 on aggregate and advance to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. So, Alisson, just back from his injury, certainly performed very well in that last game, getting on the score sheet with 2 goals. Great to see him back and firing goals. And we have been given our opponents for the next round of the Champions League, and we are going to be playing Spanish giants Barcelona. So we beat one Spanish team and get an even stronger one. And their team is absolutely stacked. Having looked at this, Lamine Yamal still at the club. They have also signed Jamal Musiala from Bayern Munich. And one of my favourite players on this game, Nico Paz, also there. So, yeah, some very good attacking talent. Kvaratskhelia on the bench. Our former man, Gabi Carvalho, is actually there as well after they signed him from Hoffenheim. Pau Kabasi just chilling on the bench. Gilberto Moura, obviously used to playing him as he's just signed from Celtic. They've even got big man Benny Sesko on the bench as well. So this is by no means going to be any easy task to knock these out of the Champions League. Well, after a tight first leg against Atlético Madrid, at home we absolutely dominated them, beating them 4-0, 6-2 on aggregate as we advance to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But for the next round, we have got the small task of beating Barcelona, and having looked at their team, I'm sure this will be easy enough. Hopefully, though, we will have Canazon back for at least that second leg, as we are certainly going to need him. To see how we fare against Barcelona, you are going to have to tune into the next episode, as that is it for this one. And if you've enjoyed it, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.